My name is Jason Simard, and I am the founder of Sims Coaching Systems. I'm here with my co-founder, Joe Moretti, and we're here on the 7-Figure Real Estate Podcast, the podcast you didn't know you even needed. Everyone, get your notepads out. Let's go. We're going to bring you value week over week, and we're actually going to be a lot of fun, and we hope to make you laugh out loud. Subscribe to our channel. Check the content out. If you're looking to take this to a whole nother level, we got you covered. I literally walked away for a second.
You did not walk away for a second. It was a hell of a second. All right, here we are together again.
Joe, I look forward to this every single week, but I got to say, I got a bone to pick with you.
Sure, okay. Well,
I got a bone to pick with you.
So can we cover one piece before you pick up?
I got a bone to pick with you.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Before we end this podcast today,
we'll get to that.
We got to air our grievance.
First thing I want to say is, this marks the second podcast that we've done live again. I know there was one that you were away. You missed the Christmas Spectacular. At one point, you did walk off the podcast, and I just want to say, from my heart to yours, this podcast would be nothing without you. And I want to say congratulations for making this podcast everything it can be and not quitting the podcast.
Wow. Man, these guys had this whole thing set up. Wow. I feel ridiculous. This is ridiculous, okay? First off, I never walked off the podcast. I literally had to go pee. I made a dramatic exit for a second, maybe like a minute, 38 seconds. You, believe it or not, were the first guy to walk off the podcast because I freaking pushed your buttons hard enough that day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, your inner bitch was coming out. You were trying to make a bunch of excuses why you weren't hitting the gym and doing the things that you said you were going to. By the way, I'm proud of you, man. You're back.
Thanks, pal. Yeah, I feel good. I'm finding I'm sleeping better. I haven't missed a day. It's been almost a month now. And it's interesting when you walk in and your accountability partner and your trainer looks at you and they go like, I just want to tell you, like you're looking good.
You're looking good, buddy.
So I appreciate it, man. And I owe that kick in the ass, man. I owe it to you. And like I said, don't stop chirping me. It might take me a little bit longer to get there, but man, I got there. So yeah.
Well, that's the importance of a good brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got to be around people that are going to lift you up. So it's funny. I had a really good conversation on the weekend. I was at a 40th birthday party and I got to connect with this guy. He's a young guy who recently just got married, successful. He's going to be a successful agent. He's successful, but this guy has a lot of upside. And we just kind of talked about, the environments that he's putting himself in, the rooms, the people he's hanging out with. And I think it's important, if you really want to get to another level in life, have people that are willing to tell you the hard truths, not the comfortable lies. If everybody around you, all they do is fluff things up and always tell you the convenient, fluffy, or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? The
convenient lies.
The convenient lies.
Versus the inconvenient truth.
You might think that they're doing you a favor, but what they're actually doing is they're helping you basically live a life to where you'll look back one day and you'll have regret because you'll know you never pushed yourself. I'm not that guy. And that's okay because there's people that probably won't hang out with me because they don't want to be pushed, and that's fine. Don't call me. But if you're going to be my good friend and my brother or my sister, I am going to push you because I fucking care about you and I see your upside. See, I have a gift. I've always been able to see what people's upside is. I always can see their potential. And so, yeah, is it sometimes tough to hear that I'm like, hey, listen, as successful as you think you are, you're a fraction of what I believe your upside is. Some people take that offensively, but the truth is they need to hear it. And for me, I know how much I would respect somebody being able to say, Jason, you have so much more to offer than what you're doing right now. Let's fucking go, man. Come on. Dig deeper. I don't know. That motivates me. This may not motivate you if you're listening, but maybe it does. Maybe it resonates with you. But if you're around a bunch of people that are just yes people, you're gonna fuck up. Look at celebrities. How many celebrities are surrounded by yes people that never ever want to say no because they just are afraid they're gonna get cut out?
Yeah, the gravy train ends.
And then they end up just being complete train wrecks.
Yep. No, I think so, right? You almost get supported in that downward spiral. Right? People encourage you to be less than what you're actually capable of. And that reminds me, I heard the most amazing quote today. Amazing quote. True hell is when the person you are today meets the person you could have been. Like I almost got shivers when I heard that. Like, man, I could have played center field for the Yankees. I guess I just didn't want it enough.
Yeah.
Right? I could have been a billionaire by the time I was in my mid-20s. But guess what? I let myself down. I own that. And I thought that quote was just absolutely brilliant as we're heading face first into 2023.
Yeah, that's so cool. Anyways, I think it's important to be around people that uplift you. I'm that guy, man. Like, if you know this about me, I'll always be looking to push you to be the best version of yourself. And I expect you to do the same with me, right? I love the fact that you can pull me aside and be like, hey, man, I need you to really pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because this is important. You know, we have that level of friendship and relationship where we can do that. And I think it's sad that some people maybe don't have those types of relationships in life, or maybe they're not in a place where they can take that type of constructive feedback. But I'd encourage people to surround themselves with a variety of people, not just people that see the world exactly how you do. Have people that see the world differently.
Yep.
I think that's what makes everything healthy. If we can't have a debate, or if we can't see things from a different perspective, how are we ever going to evolve as a society? Because it's impossible for everybody to see the world exactly the same. And you can't just be around people that are exactly like you. So in 1 minute, I'm saying, like, surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up. But on the other hand, it's okay to have some people that maybe have a different perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I think that in a working relationship, I think there's a very fine line that people tread with, like, friendship versus work relationship. And that's one of the things that I value about our relationship. So again, anybody who's got a team, please heed this advice. It's so important that you develop a functional working relationship that finds a defined level of success. Then the friendship blossoms. I think that is so important. I see so many people on real estate teams with their friends or their family members, and it's just misery loves company.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's something that I'm super proud of in our coaching company, our real estate company, is for all of us. We're all great friends, but we've achieved something remarkable prior to hitting that friendship level. So
Right.
I think that's so important too, right? Business always comes first, and the friendship blossoms from there.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to be great friends with me if this opportunity that I painted for you and I said, hey, Joe, I want you to be a part of this, if it didn't make a positive impact in your life. So the reality is I have a duty and a responsibility to make sure that, number one, I help you be the best version of yourself so that you can get the fruits of your labor and that you can get the benefits and the upside and that your family can benefit from what we're building. In the process, what happens is you build a brotherhood.
Yep.
Makes sense? And I love, honestly, I love making money with people I genuinely care about.
Oh, nothing better.
It's like my favorite thing in the world. You know, it's the best. So, guys, I want to move. I've got a little bone to pick with Joe Moretti here. No, it's true. This guy.
I'm quite sure it's
so
true.
So
I'm sure
producer
it's not
Ryan
bullshit.
sitting in the kitchen earlier, making lunch and doing these things, and he's sharing like a really meaningful, heartfelt story about something that's going on in his life. And you must have interrupted him in the span of 30 seconds, like 3 different times. 3 different
So
times.
let's just define interrupting.
And you're known as being a good listener, but in that moment, Joe,
phenomenal listener.
you're a horrible
Okay,
listener.
Well, so number one, I appreciate the feedback. Now, I think we can almost bring an independent person in here. So whenever I'm listening to somebody's story, you'll never hear TikTok on my phone. I don't even, even on the podcast, you'll never see my phone because I'm zoned in. Always. Now, again, what you're defining as interrupting was actually me asking clarifying questions.
About something that had nothing to do with what he was talking about.
Well, then I also saw him making a mistake that he was going to regret. And he's a good enough friend of mine that I can pause it and I can help him with that mistake he's about to make because it was a critical error.
So, Joe,
A critical error.
if I'm hearing you correctly,
Which you probably aren't.
what you're telling me right now
Yeah.
is that if you're talking to someone
Yeah.
and that person is engaged in social media or something else, the message that you're sending as the person on the social media is that you're not engaged in the conversation. So if you're that person that's maybe meeting with your clients, walking through houses, showing houses, and you're on your phone, you're probably giving the wrong message, right? Like, I think that's a pretty important thing to not do. So I'm going to encourage every one of you, when you're out with your clients, when you're out with your spouses, your friends, disconnect from your phone. Joe, I admit it, I have a technology problem. I do. I'm constantly in my phone. The one thing, though, that I love when I was in production is that when I was in an appointment, I was never on my phone. I'd go 2 hours, 3 hours without looking at that thing. And I was so alive. I was so in the moment. And I was so on top of my game because I was present. Man, it changed everything.
Oh, it
Now, I
does.
have a new thing that I've been doing. So
Love to hear about it.
there's this thing on your phone. I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you go into the phone right now and you go on settings and you go to your screen time, it'll actually show you your screen time average, which, by the way, I hate to admit
It's
this,
scary.
but mine was like 10 hours.
What?
10 hours. It's now, since I've put these new measures in, it's down almost 40%. So it's down to 6 hours. We're working on it. But there's this thing called downtime. So once you go into settings, go to downtime, and then you can go and schedule times in your phone, like when your phone will be disabled other than like receiving calls, making calls, and texts, but it'll disable like your social medias, everything. And so I have it from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. This is my first start every day of the week. That happens. And what it's allowed is it's allowed for more connection, with my kids. My wife and I are able to sit down and just talk. And what's really cool is the more you talk, the more you connect, and the more you realize how much of your life you waste in meaningless videos and other things. And there's like opportunity right there with your spouse or with the people you care about to create experiences. And because I've been so addicted to this stupid device here, I gotta say, Joe, I've wasted more hours than I could ever
You could probably
get
go back and count, right? And that's the scary part. Like I have that too, the weekly screen time or whatever it is. I always question it because I usually have, like, if I'm cooking dinner or something, I'll just put music on in Spotify and throw it down. So I don't know if that counts as screen time. That could be skewing my numbers. I don't know. But yeah, it's scary when you go back and you look at it. And the one thing I look back, I mean, and this is going to be like, I don't know, people are going to take this how they're going to take it. But you and I had the most like bromantic trip during the pandemic. We snuck away for one night. We went down to Bear Mountain.
Yep.
Man, we drank a lot of tequila that night. That was the night that we ate the barbecue chips off of the counter. I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah, we had some tequila.
But man, we got to Victoria at about like 5 in the afternoon. Ended up going for dinner. Came back. We had music going. It was just hanging out, being goose. We did not touch our phones from 5 o'clock until 6 a.m. the next morning, because literally we took our phones and we locked them up.
Yeah.
We actually
that was
did not
probably
have
the
them.
funnest time that you and I've had together.
Oh,
We've
man.
had some really fun times, but it's because we
Yeah.
were disconnected.
Yeah, and that's the
And
point.
I'm going to challenge everybody. If you want to become more productive, you're wondering why you're not efficient in your day, go to your phone, go into the settings, go into downtime, and actually set your phone up so that during the day when you're doing your prospecting, the things that you need to be doing, have all your apps disabled and just do the activities you need to. You will be shocked at how much more you get done in a day and how few hours you can actually work if you want to. You can cut back your work schedule in half by just being more efficient and cutting out the distractions. Because every time you go into one of those distractions, it takes 12 to 15 minutes to get back to what you were doing. So constant interruptions, not working. Another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about today too, that I think is really, really important, guys, is this whole idea of like action. I talk about it a lot, taking massive action. Well, there's a big reason why action is so important. People who are taking action don't have anxiety. They don't have stress. They're not sitting there worried about things because they're doing. See, when you're in the middle of an action and you're doing something, it is humanly, scientifically impossible to actually feel stressed or anxious. Anxiety and stress happens when you're not doing anything. So if you're a person who suffers from that or is struggling with that, it's because of inaction. And the less action you take and the more you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, you're just delaying and you're basically dragging on this anxiety, okay? Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm sure there's some of you that have anxiety that, for reasons that, are not outside of my professional grade here.
Let's just qualify the anxiety. We're talking about like that workplace anxiety, that laying up at night, maybe worrying about your bills, about, I've got no showings coming up, I got no pipeline for 2023. So that's kind of the anxiety that we're talking about. That's stemming from, chances are, being lazy in Q4, not setting yourself up for Q1. Q1 hits, and now you got nothing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're talking about.
You're avoiding taking action and you're doing things that I call busy work, right? Here's the thing. Once you make a decision, and it happens that quickly, you can literally in a second change the outcome of where you're going with something. Things will happen. So if you're somebody right now who's like, hey, I'm not where I want to be, well, you have to understand that you need to get very disciplined and get an action plan. So create a measurable activity plan. It has to be something you can track, something that we can measure, and something that you can 100% influence. Focusing on outcomes does not work, right? focusing on exactly what I can do today works. Like, for example, our measurable activity plan every day before 8 o'clock is really straightforward, right?
Yep.
For me, I go to the gym, I come into the office, I do 5 reach outs. I then do 2 gratitude messages, and then I create 2 pieces of content on my phone. I don't sit there and like try to make them perfect. I just make 2 pieces of content. And I do this all before 8 o'clock. Then I go on and I do my Zoom calls, which are all blocked for the day, all my coaching calls, okay? I'll do anywhere from 10 to 12 Zoom calls most days. And then I have days like Mondays and Fridays where I have some flexibility so I can do like our podcast and things like that. But everything is scheduled. I leave nothing to chance by doing this. I don't feel anxiety. I don't feel stress. I actually feel incredibly productive because as soon as I'm done my activities, I go to my board and I write down what I've accomplished. You get to see it. Ryan gets to see it.
Yep.
Everybody in the office sees I'm leading by example, right? How many times last week do you come in and our old habit is, we'll get into a conversation and I'm like, Joe, I'm busy right now. I'm in my activities.
That's happened to both of us. We've said that
right?
to each other.
And you know what? It's not because I'm trying to be a dick. It's because I'm trying to get these things done because I made a commitment to myself and I made a commitment to you and Ryan and Paige and everybody in our company. So if you're that person, just start creating a very simple action plan for yourself that you can focus on daily. Create basically a foolproof way that every single day you can win the day. And I'll say this, if you fall off the wagon for one day, it's one day. Just get back on it the next day. Okay. Mm-hmm. You haven't completely fallen apart here. It's one day. The problem is if you allow one day to turn into 2 to 3, this is where you have a compounding wrong problem.
It's the worst case scenario, man, the worst case compounding effect you can have. And it's interesting. I mean, we talk about putting our numbers on the board, making it visual, but we also have a text group. So not only is it on the board, but it's also between us.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody does not see the board. Right. So you put in your 5, 2, and 2 after mine. Do you remember what my numbers were this morning?
Yeah, you did 6, 2, and 2.
You're damn right.
Yeah, you wanted to do one more than
one
me.
more, and just like last week, you got yours done 20 minutes before me. So I got in here at 6:45 in the morning, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Samard." And that's the thing, and I think that's what people need, because accountability has to come from you. It can't come from somebody outside of you. I truly believe that. So many times people get into these accountability groups and they just fall out 3 days later. Well, it's because everybody else wanted it more than you did.
Yeah.
You need to want it first, 100%. Right? You need to get up in the morning and show up. Nobody can make you do that.
Right.
And so I think that is a derivative of who you also hang out with, the circles, the people that you run with.
100%.
So it's interesting, right? So you need to want it before anybody else does.
Yeah, I agree. So guys, create a plan, make it measurable, focus on it. Create whatever accountability you need to keep yourself accountable, do that. I'll tell you, I have some coaching students right now that I'm working with. They're off to a phenomenal start in 2023. They're taking such massive, consistent discipline levels of action, and they are so excited about the market they're working in because, like, to them, they're making things happen while other people aren't. So they actually feel like they're bringing value to the marketplace. It's very skills based, right? So that's a lot of fun to see that. And it's not sexy. It's the disciplined work. There's a saying that I heard the other day. The man who enjoys the race will always outperform the man who enjoys the finish line.
Love it.
Like, so true. If you are always focused on the future or the finish line and you're not enjoying the moment and the time that you're putting in getting there, it's not worth it, guys. You've got to enjoy the journey. I look back to the last 7 years of building our companies and everything that we've been doing, and like, I wouldn't change the journey for anything. Like, it's been such a cool journey. I even think back to like the setbacks and everything I'd been through before getting into the business and everything else that had happened and I'd been through. I'm like, it all built up to where we are today, and I'm enjoying the journey, and nobody could offer me any sum of money that would make me want to do anything different. Like, literally, you could offer me $50 million, $100 million, and people will listen to this and think I'm crazy, but like, I know that it wouldn't change my life. It wouldn't make me happier because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the process of building stuff from the ground up. We built our first 7-figure company from the ground up. Now we're working on our second 7-figure company, and it's exciting because we're all doing it together. Mm-hmm. There's no price tag you could put on that for me. Like, I love that. And so get inspired, figure out what it is that you enjoy, figure out the journey that you want to be on, but make sure that you have disciplined, massive action in your work plan, and stop worrying about the outcome, because the outcome is just a byproduct of getting there. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but once you hit a milestone, it's great, But if you didn't enjoy the process of getting to that milestone, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny. I got a buddy and he's 7 years sober, right? Had a problem with alcoholism, 7 years sober. And I remember when he first started seeking help, I asked him, I said, man, like, how are you going to deal with the fact that you can't drink for the rest of your life? And he goes, I don't think of it like that, Joe. I just think I can't drink today. If I don't drink today, I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. And as we talk about picking your circles, choosing your activities, enjoying the race, enjoying the thrill of being in it versus looking at that finish line, look at what you can accomplish in one day. Tomorrow's going to come, and you just need to have that same train of thought, hang out with the same people that inspire you the same way. But man, just look at what you can do in one day. One day makes such a difference in your business, in your personal life, in your fitness, in your relationships. One day. One day, today, I am going to put my phone down when I get home from work. Today, just one day, I'm going to make 5 reach outs. Tomorrow will come, but just look at what you can do today.
Man, it gives me so much confidence every day knowing exactly what I need to get done to feel like I won my day. It's so empowering. I don't know how else to describe it, but like it's so within my control that like the momentum that gets built, and it builds rapidly by just winning those days and getting those things done. So build that in for yourselves, guys. Here's the other thing too. We have some really cool stuff that we're working on. So we have our Sims Academy, by the way, which our next academy is literally launching as you're going to be listening to this. Our first wave, we've had massive success, man.
We have.
Some agents are doing some really big things. If you really want to learn how to skill up, how to be able to create and generate tangible, consistent business for yourself in any market, you want to learn the tips and secrets of 7-figure agents like myself, this is it. Sims Academy. You got to come and check it out. If you have agents who are newer to the industry or agents that are just lost, wanting to take their business to another level, check out Sims Academy. I love it. It's been hugely successful, and I can't wait for our next wave. We also have our ISA program, Joe. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, because that's been making some huge impact too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. Ambitious Edge. And really what we're looking at doing is we are looking at adding some serious firepower into businesses that have maybe plateaued or businesses that we know can take off quickly. So a bunch of different options around that that's a whole podcast in itself, my friend.
Yeah.
And for anybody that tuned in or anybody that follows our YouTube channel, Joshua Pinheiro, our absolute rock star program director. Love to set you up with a call with us and him and show you how we can impact your
Just to give you
business.
some basis for it though. So it's the program that we have used for 7 years with our inside sales agent team. We have a team of 3 inside sales agents at Sims Real Estate Group that do over 200 transactions per year. That's how many that they assist for our agents. So if you're somebody who is at a consistent level of business, but maybe, like I said, Joe said, you're plateaued, you're ready for leverage, you want to scale your team and have a better value proposition, you need to talk to us about this program, because in the next 18 months, we can help you add an additional 50 to 100 transactions by having one really well-trained, skilled ISA. So we're really excited about that program. That's something that we've put so much energy into. Another thing that I'm excited about, this is a program that I'm personally going to be running, Joe, and you'll make some appearances here and there, but like this is my baby. I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to be working with 10 agents. Okay, so 10 agents that I'm basically going to work with. They need to be at a minimum of 250,000 GCI, and their objective is they want to build a 7-figure real estate business. They want to build a consistent brand, and they want to move from having active income to more passive income in the real estate business, meaning they want to be able to add leverage by having successful agents come through. This is a program that's going to be launching in February. We have a few spots left. So if you're interested, you find yourself being that agent, let's talk, because I'd love to help you. Joe, as always, man, I enjoyed just connecting with you and just having our podcast. There's a little value, some stories, whatever. We kind of take it wherever we want to go, but
We do what we do.
yeah, I'm just proud of you, man. I'm proud of the things that you're doing.
Man.
congrats on your fitness and being disciplined and consistent with that. I think that's going to be a really healthy long-term thing. I've already seen your energy levels increase huge. You're attacking the day now. It's very different. You used to kind of slug into the day a little bit. Now you're starting to attack the day, and it sets the tone for all of us. Like, you're leading and creating an energy. Even if I had lower energy, I couldn't sustain it because I look over at you and I'm like, God damn, I got to freaking match that. So good for you, man.
Love you, pal. Thank you.
Love you too, man. Cheers,
All right,
guys.
until next time.